from a 3rd and 7 to a 3rd and 12.
Dan, this field's really holding up pretty decent, but better than I expected compared to the Wheatley field we went to, and that thing was pretty much a pigsty when we got there.
Here's Ventura back to pass. He's going to throw.
Oh, right to him. Ginnert.
Intercepted by
Ginnert. Chad Ginnert standing right in front of him.
Chad Ginnert with the interception. Chad Ginnert, a 6'4", 195-pound senior, intercepts for the Horns.
Shorthorns are having a lot of fun out there, Dan. It looks like they're starting to enjoy this game, and luckily this early we're being able to enjoy that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can go back to the really good teams of Schulenburg when Bo Adams was quarterbacking and we had the 2 Moores in the backfield and Daniel Adams was receiving. Those were the 2 times we lost to Groveton. They're great teams, but this Schulenburg team right here, they look very good, Jeff.
Dan, I think they have a better total team possibly instead of just a few outstanding athletes. It's maybe more of an all-around, a better team possibly.
Shotgun formation.
Another block.
Looks to throw, getting pressure. He's going to go out of bounds right at about the 40-yard line, so he picked up maybe 1 on the play.
It might have been a chance for Coach Hoosman to read the coverages there to see how they were going to react to our 1-minute drill, you could almost call it here now, instead of a 2-minute drill. Just going to see how they're going to react to it and maybe make some arrangements on the following plays.
I guess Coach Hoosman answered our thoughts earlier tonight before the game. We were wondering if Schulenburg might consider putting a lot of points on the scoreboard in case of a tie down the road somewhere in this tough district. Points could come into play. He's going for the points.
Well, I'm sure you'll see some second-teamers play, but they want to score too.
Here's a bad snap. Sarton gets the ball. He's going to take the sack at about the 30-yard line.
A smart play there. You don't want to get anybody hurt. Just take the sack there. Take the minus yards. We're still in good shape. If we can keep this 30-point halftime lead, we're still in fine shape. Our defense hadn't allowed 30 points all year, especially in one half. We're looking at and continue our offense. Expect them to still score a few more, hopefully, in the second half.
It'll bring up a 3rd and 19 for Schulenburg. And the clock continues to run. We'll get away 1 more play. He may take the... Well, they're going to try to get the play off here. 3rd and 19. 15 seconds to go. Sarton hands off to Raines. Raines over the left side. I think that's how the half's going to end, Jeff.
It looks like he's just going to play it safe and take what we've got into the... Well, we got a timeout on the field.
Timeout taken by the Schulenburg Shorthorns, I believe. Nope.
Shiner's taking it.
That's right. It is 4th down.
They're going to set up for the punt return, hopefully get a big play there.
4th down and about 19 to go. And Schulenburg, of course, will have to punt the ball away. Shiner's hoping to go, as you said, of course, they're probably thinking block since they've already blocked 1 tonight.
Exactly. Be prepared for Schulenburg to set up for that block and not for the big coverage kick. But maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to take the ball and run around out there a while and take a knee after the clock runs down. That might be the best bet to go right there.
Certainly a possibility, and I'm sure Coach Hoosman is thinking about that at this time. With 6 seconds to go in the first half, 4th down. Now they say it's 16 yards to go for the first down, so it'll be interesting. Schulenburg may just try to run a play right here and not even line up in the formation.
It looks like we've got that right there. Sarton's back there, so it's not going to be a punt.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to line up in a shotgun formation. I look for Stephen just to run around back there.
There he goes.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to roll around. Now he's going to throw one here to Jamie Jackson. Incomplete, but the clock runs out. Time is run out in the first half with our score, the Schulenburg Shorthorns 30, the Shiner Comanches nothing. Find themselves ahead of
Bulldogs. The JV will play at 5 and the varsity at 6. Weimar will travel to Schulenburg for head-to-head competition next Friday at 5 p.m., varsity only. The JV results, Schulenburg versus Lytle. Schulenburg lost the first game 6-15, won the second one 15-8, lost the third one in a tight one 14-16. The ninth grade results, Schulenburg defeated Lytle 15-5, 15-3. If you get a chance to go ahead and support these ladies, they'd appreciate all your help. Wish them on and root them on to a good season and hopefully in the playoffs.
we're just about set to go in the second half with the Schulenburg Shorthorns leading 30-0. And as we mentioned at halftime and right before halftime, Jeff, that this game has been thoroughly dominated by the Schulenburg Shorthorns.
Well, don't look for the statistics to be the same in the second half. I can guarantee you that. Shiner's going to, I'm sure they're going to air it out a little more. If Lee plays, they'll possibly still use that running game. But if he doesn't play, look them to go to the air pretty regularly here to try to get back in this. They're going to have some quick scores and some solid defensive stands, which have been few and far between.
And do you look for Schulenburg to just keep it on the ground?
Definitely. I think so. Well, I don't know. Dan, the passing is so much a part of their game. You don't want to get away from it totally. You still want to brush up on what you can. But then again, you don't want to show everything. You've got a lot of key games ahead of time in playoffs. I'm sure there's teams scouting Schulenburg here for the playoffs already, which has been early in the season that's been happening.
Be interesting to see if Lyndon Lee comes out in the second half for Shiner.
Well, he's not on the kickoff return where he normally is too, so that's one place already that he's missing that we're used to seeing him back there. So only time will tell. We'll see in just a few minutes if he comes out with the offensive set.
Here is Schulenburg getting ready to kick off. Jared Schromick to kick off for the Schulenburg Shorthorns. Back deep for Shiner, 34, T.J. Fissler, along with Randy Vencura. Of course, Vencura, the quarterback for Shiner.
I don't know about you, Dan, but I can't even see him on the sidelines, to tell you the truth. I don't even know if he's still in the locker room, possibly getting some medical attention. But maybe I'm just missing him, but I don't even see him on the sideline.
Here's Schromick's kick. Gets away from Fissler. He picked it down up about the 10-yard line. Gets to about the 21-yard line. Looked like his knee may have touched, but they say no.
I was just about to say the same thing. Looked like he almost was down on his own right there. I don't see Lee coming in the game.
Shiner to start out 1st and 10 for the with just underway here in the second half.
He's walking outside the locker room with a limp. I doubt we'll see him in action tonight anymore, Dan.
30-0 our score. Vencura brings the team to the line of scrimmage. Split receivers to the right. Handoff goes nowhere. Looks like it was Shepard and a few others there.
Excellent job of filling by the linebackers. Schulenburg's got a defense, and believe me, they're showing it tonight. We faced some pretty potent offenses and some great backs this year, and Douglas of Yoakum and the Wheatley back, my God, he was awesome, man. They got their yards on us, but we're playing somebody our size. I think we'll have the upper hand.
What about Shiner? They just don't seem to have it tonight. Have we just taken them out of their game completely?
Well, Shiner bases their game on the run. There's no doubt about that. It's been that way for years and years, and if you take that away from them, we could have a lot of problems.
Here's a quarterback sneak. Doesn't go maybe a couple of yards. Credit Hernandez, Bezetsny, Shepard in on the defensive tackle for Schulenburg.
It's beautiful to watch that defense, Dan, when they swarm. They just swarm to the ball no matter where it is. There's a number of black jerseys around it every play, no matter what. Excellent pursuit on outside runs and passes and so on. Just a total team effort here.
Third and, we'll call it 3rd and 7 for the Comanches. Split receivers to the right. Tight end to the left. 2 in the backfield. Vencura barks the signals. Handoff. Cowan, I believe, goes nowhere. Bezetsny, Shepard, Hernandez, Paco Valenzuela, they're all in there.
Hernandez was in the backfield almost as soon as he got the ball. That little trap play there, was fairly successful. If there was any play they had successful in the first half, they gained their positive yards on that trap. Must have been some coaching going on at halftime and found a way to stop that play.
That defensive line of Schulenburg just totally dominating the ball game right now, and Shiner will have to punt on their first series in the second half.
Looks like they're getting a little better every week, possibly.
Here's the punt. Pretty good punt. Going to bounce right in front of Jamie Jackson at the 40-yard line. He's going to let it roll to about the 34.
We start in pretty good field position again, Dan. As long as we keep them out of our deep position, we're going to, even if we do happen to have an unfortunate fumble or turnover, we're not in terribly bad position, whereas a deep kick would keep us pinned pretty far back. But look for him to protect that ball and to play pretty conservative.
Well, Shiner came out of the dressing room, no new wrinkles of anything, and Schulenburg's defense just dominated again.
Shiner might be looking just to finish this game and let's go home.
Stephen Adams goes wide to the left side. Jamie Jackson joins him in the slot there. Sarton at quarterback. Wright and Houston in the backfield. Marek is tight right. Sarton barks the signals. Handoff to Houston. Good blocking out in front. A wall there, but that defense of Shiner's pretty good.
They closed that hole pretty good. It looked like there was a wall of Schulenburg blockers there, but Shiner plugged it up and fought off the double teams and made a good play there.
They really did. Closed it in a hurry. Bring up a second down and 10. I keep waiting for them to call that number on that football. Jeff, have they called the number yet?
I don't believe yet. I don't know when they call it. Sleepy, you know when they call it?
I've got a bunch of tickets here. I don't want to miss it. Second down and 10. 9:18 to go, third quarter. Sarton barks the signals. Wants to throw. He's getting pressured. Fumbles the ball, but Houston is there to fall on it.
Luckily, it was there. Backside pressure was a little bit more than he could handle there. Brings up a 3rd and long here now. This is one of the situations we haven't been in tonight, and we'll see how we react.
Well, they were really coming at Sarton that time, and he just stepped up and lost the ball, and luckily Houston was there to recover.
Well, I'm sure at the discussion in Shiner's halftime is we've got to get some pressure on Sarton. Don't let him sit back there and be able to look over our defense and find the open man. And that was a good instance of a lot of good pressure out there. They're going to have to continue to do that.
3rd and 16 for the Schulenburg Shorthorns. 8:35 to go in the third quarter. Marek is tight right. Houston and Wright in the backfield. Jackson to a slot on the left. Stephen Adams also on a wide to the left. Sarton to throw. Pretty good protection. Now he puts it down. He's trying to run. Struggles for yardage. Gets to about the 36-yard line. And a pickup of about 7 there.
It's going to leave us with 4th and 9. There's no doubt we're going to have to punt here. There's no need to give Shiner an extra breath here by making a rash decision and going for it here. Hopefully we'll get a nice punt out of this and make them go the length of the field.
Clock is under 8 minutes at 7:57 to go. Jared Schromick to punt the ball for the Schulenburg Shorthorns. Almost blocked by Shiner, but Schromick gets a good one away. Rolls down to the 25-yard line and chased out of bounds at the 30. Thank you very much. Thanks for the soda pop up here, Jeff. Clock runs with 7:38 to go. That's 7:38 to go in the third quarter, and Shiner will have the ball.
Let's see if they bring anything different on this drive.
$30-0. Schulenburg leads. Shiner with 2 receivers to the left side. 1 man in the backfield. And Vencura barks the signals. Keeper around the left side. Sarton drags him down at about the 37-yard line. Pickup of about 6.
A good play, a good read by the quarterback not to give to the dive back because he was covered pretty heavily. But also a good read by Sarton to come up and make that supporting play from the safety position.
Clock runs with 7:15 to go in the third quarter. Schulenburg leads in the ball game 30-0.
From this point, Dan, you really can't fault anything Schulenburg's done so far. There's been literally no mistakes beside the punt.
They have looked impressive. Handoff to Cowan over the right side. Breaks some tackles. Finally brought down by Sarton, but not before he picks up a first down.
Maybe this is the philosophy they should have used earlier in the game and just try to pound us in the middle with their quickness and get those short 5-6 yard bursts every time. That's one of their few first downs of the game. I don't know how many they've had. It's pretty few, I can understand, but maybe that's the philosophy they need to use.
Shiner has not had a lot to cheer about tonight. Ball is at the 48-yard line, their own 48. They're working with a new set of downs. Vencura, handoff to Cowan. He goes nowhere, absolutely nowhere. Ricky Hernandez in there. Also number 63 for the Horns, Brian Valenzuela. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for Shiner.
Well, one thing Coach Usman told me before that it's been a big plus for Schulenburg is the crowd. We've had an excellent support all year long, and if Greg gets a chance later on to get a shot of this crowd, I'd like to get everybody a chance to get on TV and show what we can do.
Tyson Romine in the game right now defensively. He comes in and makes the tackle on the Cowan running the ball.
Tyson's a little slowed by an ankle injury, and a fine addition to our defense, being able to move in this year. He's going to be able to help us in the next year or two. Still learning the system possibly, but a good athlete, just a totally good athlete, and he will help us.
Ricky Hernandez comes out of the ball game limping a little bit. We hate to see that. We hope he's going to be all right. Ricky, a fine football player. 3rd down and 7, 5:35 to go in the third quarter. Keeper around the right side, finally brought down by Marek. Marek brings him down, but not before he gets a first down to about the 36-yard line.
Dan, this is the Shiner I expected to see with their option play, and their quarterback is a good runner also. If Lee was playing right now, we might be in a little more trouble, but with this clock running, I feel a little confident. But with that running game, if they were a passing team and they could strike real quick, we might have a lot to worry about.
Clock is running rapidly here with just over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Quarterback sneak again. This time he doesn't get much of anything. Credit number 4, Jared Schromick, in on the defensive tackle, along with number 72, Sam Brown. Bring up a second down. Well, they say he picked up 3 on the play. 2nd and 7.
Pretty generous spot.
Yeah, I thought so too. 4:45 to go, third quarter. Schulenburg leading 30-0. 2 receivers come to the left side, 1 to the right for Shiner. Shiner working out of that lone setback in Cowan. Here's the pitch to him, looking for running room. Actually, it's not Cowan. He breaks a tackle and finally brought down by Steven Sarton, who saved the touchdown.
Seems like we're having a little bit of problem holding on to some people right now. We're in the right positions to make the play, just slipping through the hands. I'm sure Coach Oden's going to say a few things we might not want to talk about on TV, but he'll remind them, this game isn't over, fellas. We got to still strap it on.
That's Bobby Werner, who was carrying that ball. He's been in the game right now for Cowan for Shiner. Clock shows 4:15 to go. The Shorthorn fans urging on the Shorthorns to stiffen here. They don't want them to score anything. Keeper around the left side. Bezetsny runs him out of bounds right at about the 15-yard line.
Dan, if you watch real closely, they're still moving. Shiner is still moving on that snap. They're not set. That line is not set. And they haven't called it all night. They haven't called on Shiner all year. I can't figure the reasoning why they're not calling it. I don't know if it's a rule. They've got a new rule this year that you don't have to be set, but as long as we've known, that's been a standing rule.
4:03 to go in the third quarter. You're right. Here's a quarterback sneak, keeper around the right side, and Sam Brown ties it up.
Nice play by Sam. For a lineman, he's got good speed. You know, big and tall and lanky like Sam is, he's getting a few pounds put on him, and good speed, and he's able to contain that quarterback.
And the kind of player who can really dominate a whole ball game.
He did to Weimer last week. Weimer dreamed of 72 all week.
3:45 to go. Clock runs. Third quarter action. Our score, Schulenburg 30, Shiner nothing. Shiner brings their team to the line of scrimmage. Split receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And Werner is in the backfield. Here's the handoff to him. Nowhere. Credit number 61 for the Schulenburg Shorthorns. Chad Gentert in on the defensive tackle.
Well, we're going to look for a 4th and long here, but Shiner has no chance. But they have to go for this. There's no other possibility here. With winding down the third quarter with less than 3 minutes to go, as this play will probably start here, they have no choice but to go for this and try to get some momentum going into the fourth quarter to mount a big comeback, hopefully.
The ball is at the 20-yard line. They are faced with a 4th and 9. Clock is under 3 minutes. 2:55 to go. Now we're going to have a timeout called by Shiner.
Again, we have some sponsors this pre-broadcast. It'll be on 7 o'clock Tuesday night, Channel 16. Diamond S Restaurant, Foxfire Builders, J.O. Renner, 10th Frame Bowling, Audubon Travel Shop, IMCO, Ken and Sherry Banks owners, Cromshack Wagner Insurance Agency, Kelly and Doris Sarton, Schulenburg Livestock Auction Incorporated, Zimmerman's Garage, Vernon and Fawn Zimmerman owners, Schulenburg Printing and Office Supplies and Sports Specialties, the Prosky families, Dan and Jill Tabor, Baumgarten Matula, Bruce and Cindy Bozel, 3D Belt Company, Steve and Sharice Deese, backing the Lady Horns and Shorthorns. Charles and Gay Bow, Oak Ridge Smokehouse Restaurant, Robert, Pam, and Narissa Bezetsny, Tom and Dolores Sanders, Gallup's Supermarket, Leo's Stop and Shop, Leo Sheer Genius, and upstairs at the downstairs, Mayo Leo Kopetsky, Devine, and Kenny.
Well, the Schulenburg Shorthorns totally dominating here, and if Shiner is to have any chance at all in the ball game, they need a first down here, 4th and 9. If they're stopped here, game is probably over, and they are stopped. They go nowhere.
It was looking like just a little slip screen in there, and the back never got, the play never developed. Excellent pressure by Schulenburg's up front. I know the play is designed to let him in and to suck the lineman in to get the pass over him, but it was still too quick for him to even get a chance to even set that play up.
Jeff, I didn't see the Schulenburg-Weimar game, so I don't know how strong Weimar is, but this Shiner team, I mean, they just haven't impressed me. I guess, is it the fact that Lyndon Lee is out of the game?
That is part of the decision. The Weimar game, Weimar played us pretty tough the first half. It's the Schulenburg-Weimar rivalry. You have to give that a lot of credit. But the game is here tonight. That is a big plus in Schulenburg's favor also. Being in Shiner, that might give them a little bit of the edge.
Sarton barks the signals from the 20. Handoff to Wright. I know it's David Raines in the game. He may have picked up one. And the clock continues to run, which is what Coach Hoosman is wanting at this point.
There's no need to chance any long plays or something where you can chance of turnovers and so on. Let's take care of the ball and hopefully keep everybody healthy, because we're going to need a big game again next week against East Bernard.
Something we talked about earlier, we talked about the dominating teams in 89 and 90 and the difference between this team and that team. We talked about overall team strength. Here you can look at the amount of players who only go one way, and back in 89 and 90 they went both ways, so that shows you that this team is stronger in and out.
Exactly. The depth is a big difference here for us.
Here's a screen to Marek. Got some running room, breaks some tackles. Good-looking run by Kevin Marek. He gets to the 41-yard line. Kevin Marek, a 6'1", 190-pound senior.
Kevin, you can count on Kevin for one pass a game at least, and it's usually a big play. And in every case, he's made a nice gain out of it. In the Yoakum game, he made a big gainer. Last week in Weimar, he made a nice gain, and every week he's come up with a big play. The Wheatley game, there was no bigger play than his long touchdown reception. He's a good target, and you can't key on him because they don't throw enough to him.
41-yard line is the spot. 1st and 10. Draw play to Houston. Houston gets to the 46-yard line. A pickup of about 5 on the play. Clock continues to run. We're at the minute 30.
They're still keying on Jason. There's no doubt about that. You can't forget about him. He'll bust a big one at any moment. There's going to be a certain amount of players that are going to spy on him and key on him.
Number 82, Stephen Adams, the 160-pound junior, comes back into the game for the Horns. He comes wide right. Jamie Jackson joins him in a slot there. Marek is wide left. Houston and Wright in the backfield. And Sarton barks the signals from the 46. Handoff to Raines. Check that is Raines in Houston. Raines got some running room, breaks some tackles, gets to the 41-yard line before he's brought down.
He's a nifty little runner, Dan. He's got some little feet there, and he's not an easy man to catch. He's not real big, but David can bench press a lot of weight. He's a strong young man, and a guy you want in the back, whether he's quick on his feet, his little feet move real good, and he's eludes a lot of tackles and cuts at the right time, it seems to be a lot of times. He's a big contrast from Jason to him, and when you're keying on Jason, he busts you with a lot of big plays.
Clock continues to run now. 46 seconds to go in the third quarter. Sarton barks the signals. Handoff to Houston, right side. He's bottled up. He's going to go nowhere. A host of Comanches bring him down around the 46-yard line.
You got some boos from the fans here, possibly some late hits. The progress has stopped. The referees maybe need to have a little conversation, say, hey, look, fellas, this game's getting out of hand. We need to calm this down. Nobody needs to get hurt out here anymore, and if he's down, let's keep it that way.
We've got down to the last, well, I don't think we're going to get another play off here. Do you look for Coach Hoosman to possibly take out some of his starters in the fourth quarter?
Well, the only problem with that, Dan, is if you take the offensive starters out and put them in the second string in, as you might want to, I don't like to call them the second string, but that's your defensive starters. So they're going to be playing both ways on defense if you do that, because we play a lot of one-way players, but if you double them up, they're going to be playing both ways, and somebody's not going to get any playing time. So, and then again, if they do get offense, they want to show their wares, and they're good players because they're starting defensive players. So they're not your second-rate athletes. They're just he's done a good job of splitting them up and putting the best possible player where they can be. But you're not losing a lot when you put the second string in.
Just kind of reloading.
Exactly.
Well, it's start of the fourth quarter right now with our score, Schulenburg 30 and Shiner nothing. As we continue to play here, continue our broadcast of the game this evening. This is Dan Miller along with Jeff Prosky. Hope you're enjoying the ball game. Schulenburg will work with a 2nd and 13. The ball at the 45-yard line. Jackson in the slot to the left side. Handoff to Houston. Houston breaks some tackles, breaks another tackle, gets to the 45, now to the 35, now to the 30, hit hard at the 30.
But a nice run by Jason. He needs to get up from this one and shake this one off. He took a good lick by a Shiner player. He's going to be all right. Looks like he maybe bunged his arm up a little bit. He took a good lick from a Shiner player. But a nice run by Jason there. Cuts at the right time. He's all right. He's going to shake this off. He's a competitor out there.